Welcome back to WCI-TV, sponsored by Tower MSA Partners. I'm Amy Sweezy, and joining me now from American Airlines, I have two very special gentlemen, Bryan Connor and Drew Cashatt. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
So first of all, Bryan, what do you do for American Airlines?
I am the Senior Manager of Workers' Compensation for American Airlines. We manage the Workers' Comp program, advocacy model of Workers' Comp to take care of our injured team members when they're injured.
Okay. And Drew, what about you?
So I manage the accommodations team, which is closely related to Bryan and our absence and return center. And we also have an advocacy model for our injured workers, and whether it's at work or non-OJI.
Okay. I want to ask you a little bit about your origin stories. Bryan, what was it that first brought you to the workers' compensation industry?
Well, believe it or not, Amy, I started as a flight attendant almost 30 years ago.
Wow.
And working with the flight attendant work group, I came to be a flight attendant a little older when I started. I didn't start young, I started older. And I recognized that the flight attendants needed an advocate as a leader. And I worked really hard to do the job well, subsequently got promoted and started to see some of the opportunities that I could make a major difference in the flight attendant lives. And workers' comp was one of them. And I have a pivoting moment where a flight attendant came into my office and said, you know, I've been injured and I needed more help, and I didn't always get more help. And I took that as my life's mission, that I want to go the extra mile, create an advocacy-based workers' comp program and leaves, because at that point we used to do leaves, so that we could fully take care of that team member holistically. And that's the key, holistic program in order to take care of our injured team members and our just team members in general. We love our team members. And that really started it for me.
All right. I love that story. Drew, what about you? How did you get into this industry?
Yeah, so believe it or not, I started with TWA on the ramp loading luggage while I was in law school. Halfway through law school, I realized, you know what, I don't want to practice law. So I stayed with the airline, and then the merger came around. I was working on the front line, either at the station as a worker or as a leader in those stations. And I found my way over into workers' comp. And I luckily was able to work for Bryan Connor beginning after the merger with American Airlines and US Airways, and found myself in the role now where I manage the accommodations team, which works so closely with Bryan that we're really just one team trying to advocate for that team member.
Okay. Bryan, you've been around for a few years in
Yes.
this business and in this industry and field. If you were to run into someone who was contemplating a career in workers' comp, someone who hadn't quite decided what they wanted to do with their life yet, what would you say to them? How would you encourage them, or what would you tell them as far as advice?
First thing, to go for it. You know what? When workers' comp is not one of those careers that you plan for and go to school to get it. You typically fall into it. And you usually, what you've worked at a company or at a business, and you end up helping someone who got injured, and it inspires you. I mean, and then what you do is then you end up taking that as kind of your mission, that I want to do workers' comp. I want to take care of that injured team member. I want to make sure they get the best possible care. And there's always one story that happens that can change your life. Everyone has that story, how that happens. Just like I told you, that flight attendant come into my office, and that jumpstarts your career into workers' comp. And that's really how most everybody, if you ask this question to anyone in workers' comp, they didn't go to school for it. It was inspired by them, by some event. Something happened.
Okay. Drew, there's a lot of attendees here, a lot of different people from different, areas. If you were to run into, say, a young professional, someone who'd been in the workers' comp field for maybe 3 to 5 years, what would your advice be to them as far as longevity and to kind of get where you are today?
So my first word to them would be a servant to those injured workers. Make sure that you realize that that person is at the lowest portion of their life, possibly because of their industrial accident. You're there to advocate for them and to make sure that they have a successful recovery. If they can't return to their normal job, then they would come to my team, and we would work with them to make sure that we can find something for them to do at American Airlines through the accommodations process. But make sure you care for that member and realize there's other things that are so adjacent to the workers' compensation team that you'll find something that is your niche, and you'll be able to make a great career out of it.
Bryan, with all your years of doing this kind of work, is there one person that you can kind of look back on that made a really significant impact on your career?
He's sitting right beside of me, Amy.
Really?
Absolutely. You know, I met Drew more than a decade ago, and when we first, I took over the department, and Drew worked in workers' comp. There we go. You know, and the word servant is what I'd like to, he just used that word, and that's him. He is a servant leader. Myself also complements in servant leadership, and we know that two of us together can make a difference. We can do it together. And that's what really happened. And we're very in tune of loving on our team members, our injured team members, and going the extra mile every time, every single time, all the time. And also, he's a great accountability partner. When I maybe not be doing like I should, or he needs to mentor me along, he's not afraid to tell me that. And we've given each other permission to do that. So not only is this a career for us, it's our lifestyle. We love our team members. We want to serve them every single day. But at the same time, we got to hold each other accountable to make sure we're doing the right thing every time.
How does that make you feel, Drew, hearing those words?
You know, it makes me feel good to know that I'm going to also say Bryan, because Bryan and I have worked so closely for that decade. We both started in the airline industry in 1996. So we have a rich history, both from different airlines, but we've come together just to make sure that we impact meaningfully the team member's life when it comes to our departments, to our absence space, just to make sure that we get them back to work and treat them with compassion.
That's fantastic. You both have been attendees at WCI for a couple of years now. Bryan, what keeps you coming back?
You know, the people here.
Yeah.
I think the people, this conference has kind of evolved. It used to be just Florida, right? But now it's really nationwide. And to be able to see all of our business partners under one single roof, when you walk into the World Marriott here in Orlando, and I can see all of my partners at once, and we're all collaborating together, and we're all working together for the better of workers' comp as a whole, it just gives you that feeling.
And Drew?
Yeah, definitely the partners that you work with. It's great to see them all here. So you get that, you know, we're more of a people-oriented group. So we like to see our partners in person. We like to see them on Teams as well, but it's definitely great to see them here in person and be able to swap stories and catch up.
All right. Bryan Conner, Drew Cashatt, American Airlines, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Amy.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for sharing your story and so much inspiration with all of us.
Yep.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is WCI-TV, sponsored by Tower MSA Partners. I'm Amy Sweezy. Thanks for watching.